Hello and welcome back to my channel Learn SST. So today we are going to do lesson number 3 from book 1 of grade 9 MSc, The Impact of Falaj during the Iron Age. So without wasting much of the time, let's get started. So here we have the learning outcomes. Identify how a Falaj works and its importance to a community. Describe the housing and food of the U.A.E area during the Iron Age. Explain why we need to recognize and preserve World Heritage sites like the Alan Oasis. So before I proceed further, just a humble request as always to please subscribe to Learn SST. This is activity 1 from the textbook. Please go through. This is activity 1 continued. Please go through. Let us see the Falaj system in detail. After 4000 BC, the U.A.E area slowly received less and less rain. This meant that the level of water underground probably dropped. Thus, getting fresh water became more and more difficult. Because what I feel is that when you have a rainfall in a region, that water seeps in, and that rainwater which seeps in, it helps in the water table of the underground. So when you don't have rainfall at all in a region, obviously the underground water level is going to drop. It is not surprising that people in the UAE seem to have been the first to make a falaj. The people have been living in this dry region for thousands of years now. They knew where water was located underground and how the water level changed when rainfall occurred. During the Oman period, they dug wells and were able to draw water to the surface with the help of a simple pulley devices. You must have seen on the wells how they have the pulley, which is a rope, and the both sides of the rope have got one side with a heavy weight, and the other side you have the tumbler or the bucket. And in this manner, the people draw water. Around 1000 BC, there was another slight reduction in the rainfall in the UAE. Thus, the level of water under the ground probably dropped and even became more difficult to reach. At the coastal town of Muvella in the Sharjah region, people used new types of wells that tapped the fresh water and which lay below the salty water. So that system is known as the Falaj system. Even these sources would have eventually been affected by declining rainfall. The inland springs would have dried up too. In this situation, people needed water from deep underground and a system to transport it to the surface. And that's how the Falat system was practiced. Now let us see the Falaj system more in detail. The Falaj system was the solution. A Falaj is an underground channel that carries fresh water from the sources in the mountains and springs to where it is needed. So where do you find such kind of underground water? You find it near the mountains and also the springs. And obviously it is the channel which is being created by digging, and then that channel which keeps on supplying fresh water for domestic as well as for farming purposes. Around 1000 BC, new villages and towns grew in the UAE interior, especially around the Alan area and on the edges of Al Hajar Mountains. Archaeologists discovered many buildings at sites like Hili. So with the help of the Falat system, people started living in the interiors in the region of Alain and on the edges of this mountain Al Hajar. That was not possible earlier, but it was possible around 1000 BC. These were probably all parts of a single ancient town. Towns on the interior, like the Hili, were possible because of the Falaj system. The Falaj also provided water for many of the oases that developed. You know the meaning of oasis. It's a green patch of land which is found in the desert. And that green patch is all because of the availability of the water and farming purposes going on. The Falat system was to remain one of the most remarkable features of agriculture and village life throughout the UAE. Its effect lasts to the present day. So even now the people are using this Falat system for the irrigation of their agricultural land. This is activity 2, very much from the textbook. Please go through. This is activity 3, very much from the textbook. Please go through. Now let us see the Iron Age. The Iron Age was the third historical and cultural stage in what is sometimes called the Three Age period. So what is the Three Age period? First is the Stone Age, which lasted to 3000 BC, Bronze Age from 3000 to 1200 BC, and Iron Age from 1200 to 100 BC. That is 100 years before the birth of Christ. As the name indicates, the Iron Age was characterized by the discovery and use of iron. The Iron Age was recognized at different times in different parts of the world because of the presence of iron, and the technologies to utilize iron appeared at different times in different parts of the world. So, Iron Age was recognized in different parts of the world in different times. As the people discovered iron and they started using it by making different kinds of equipments out of iron, then that particular part was, say, the Iron Age has dawned into that region. So different parts of the world discovered iron in different eras or in different times. In some parts of the world, iron replaced bronze for making tools and weapons because iron was more durable than bronze. However, in other parts of the world, like the U.A.E, people continue to use bronze. Why? Because of one big reason, that they had easier access to copper and the technology to convert copper into bronze. So that was available. That's the reason they felt it is more better to use copper converted into bronze rather than iron. During the Iron Age, around 1000 BC, houses in the U.A.E area were made more and more of mud bricks. The construction of the mud brick houses relied was based upon the knowledge of which materials to use in the mud bricks. So they had a very good knowledge about it, and that bears witness to the picture which I have put up over here on the left side. Shows you the mud brick and how intact are the edges of it. That means they were using some kind of wooden frame, and that mold of wooden frame had kept these mud bricks intact for years together. And how to design the buildings so that they could last long. Some of the buildings are standing when archaeologists discovered them 3000 years later. So the ruins or the remains of the buildings were there, and it was in a standing position. Why? Because of the good material which they had used. And they discovered it 3000 years later. Still, it was intact. The mud houses that existed in Align, Fujairah, Dubai, or Sharjah hundreds of years ago, in many ways, the result of the initial mastery. So, since they had the mastery of construction, that is the reason the mud brick houses are existent in these areas till date. During the Iron Age in the UAE, food was mostly the same as it has been earlier. People ate sheep, goats, and cattle, and they hunted wild animals like gazelles and oryx. They obtained milk from domesticated animals. These are very general things. They continue to catch fish and collect shellfish along the coast. They use the falaj and falaj so that that could help them in the farming activities, and they can grow more crops. There is evidence that sisal, that is till, was cultivated, and this could be used for making oil or flour. The herb basil, or tulsi, which we call it, and other plants were grown and cultivated in the small gardens, which was made possible only with the help of falaj. This is activity 4, very much from the textbook. Please go through. Activity 5 and 6 put up in the same slide. Please go through. This is activity 7 from the book. Please go through. I have put up some points of my own. You can add some more points. So here I come to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching my channel Learn SST. If you really liked my video, then please be generous enough to give me a like, share it with your friends, with your classmates, and with all those people who really need to know what exactly is MSc all about. And please do subscribe to my channel. See you next time with my new video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.